Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to New York session. I hope you're doing well. Um, so dollar index. Here we are. Yesterday, I was expecting the dollar index to close bullish. I was expecting it to close bullish so we could start aiming for higher prices, but it couldn't sustain the close above the previous day's high. So during the New York, by the end of the New York session, price gave a rejection, which on the daily is giving a potential, personally, continuation to the downside, but it's either downside or a consolidation. Looking at how we closed yesterday, there's a potential for a run for previous day's low, and based on that, they can pull back into the gap that was formed during the New York session and then make a run for yesterday's low, probably into this gap over here. So keep an eye on the New York session. Today is Thursday, so we might have okay, I think Friday, tomorrow is July 4th, which is Independence Day for the States. Hence, there is no NFP. As a matter of fact, probably the market will be closed tomorrow. So, be careful today, because if you don't get any big movement today, then nothing is going to happen tomorrow until probably next week. So next week is when they'll release NFP. Okay. So with that, they might keep price in a consolidation for now, and then next week price will start moving. So today I think it might trade up in here, but might not continue. It might pause in there, and it might not come back down. It might stay in that until next week. So I think the only trade that I have for today is a potential crude oil going to attack yesterday's high. Okay, came close to it. I missed it. Came very close to it. I bought this auto block in London, and I was aiming for that high, and I think I missed it. I was doing something when that happened. Anyway, but this New York session, we should key off from this gap and then go and attack it properly. So that's the only trade I think is worth taking. It can trade up into this small gap in here, because yesterday, instead of price giving, I think during the New York session, instead of us price giving a move to the downside, it rejected same New York session and then came back above this high. So it's showing signs of bullishness. So the only I think good trade for today is this euro. I think it's coming for this gap as well over here, or probably this one, this little one right here. Right there. So these two, between now and 2 p.m. price will have some kind of reaction off from there. Now you can watch it on the M15 for any sharp move away from it. If we get any sharp move away from it, then definitely you could be looking for a potential buy. Okay, so watch these two gaps. The first one comes in at 1.1779, and the second one comes in at 1.1774. Okay. British pound, I think that one is just stuck in a consolidation. I think you should leave the British pound alone for now. Focus on the euro. Definitely euro pound is not tradable, but based on how they've moved yesterday, I think it will continue going up. Maybe they might be accumulating today, but that is going to affect how euro and pound is going to move today. With today being an inside candle, we're still in New York session, but it looks like it's coming down in the form of accumulation. So the sell into that gap this morning was the best idea, but I think it's already gone. What I did with it, let me show you what I did with it. So every New York session, okay, during the New York session, if price has moved up for the whole day, it went up, pull back, and then up, and then New York session, towards the end of the day, it created this sharp move, creating this imbalance. So I took a sell, a short to come here. That was a scalp. Okay, from here to come here. All right. Now, I'm not saying go and do that all the time, but during the New York session, if price ever go up, I think it happened here as well. Notice that sharp move. If you sell that gap, then you aim for something on the downside every day during the New York session. If you get a sharp move, something like this, like sharp move, pull back to the gap, then you sell towards the end of the day. Yeah, was a buy, a sharp move, gap, and then you buy. I think you get it here. Not the best. Basically the red candle, right, which represent to me an order block. Just go through your price and then you see examples of it. Anyway, so that was a trade that I took yesterday with the idea that euro was gonna be weak. So watch euro for this gap. Yen, dollar yen has moved into some kind of a weird pattern, which as it stands, similar to the dollar index. We could be coming back for previous day's low, or we could stay, or we can stay in a consolidation. So based on how price is right now, I think you're supposed to be just sitting on your hands if you trade this pair, because it's not the best pair to be trading right now. Okay, it's not the best pair to be trading right now. So sit on your hands and wait. Let price give another displacement showing intention it wants to move somewhere, then you trade it, especially during the New York session, right? Where we are now, it's kind of, they might move from here to attack the previous day's low. Right here. So if you're not, scared, something like this, it's possible, right? Something like that is possible. I'm already positioned on crude oil, so I might give that one a pass, but it's possible, okay, a move down within the next, I don't know, the next hour, because that's when we go into the New York session. Gold. So gold, we've now actually come to that level, and this happened outside time, so we don't count that. This is the one that you're looking for. So yesterday or 2 days ago, when I was speaking about price touching this, okay, what is done during this landing session is what you are looking for. Okay, what is done this landing session is what you are looking for, because the idea is price needs to give a sharp move away from the gap. Okay, sharp move, but not outside time. It needs to be within time. So we had that happen in London, pull back down, and then pull back and then down. So from here, I think we need to probably move back down. If we come back to it, then you want to see another sharp move back down again. All right. I'm just checking euro. I think it's reacting off from nothing. I think it needs to come back down more. So watch this gap. Okay, if we trade through it, then they might be coming for this equal high, and you can take a long. But like I said, the dollar yen would be the best one. So dollar yen, you can look for a potential sell on that pair. Okay, let's move on to, I think we've done crude oil. ES. So ES, nothing. I personally have not done anything with it so far this week. I think yesterday we were looking for maybe a rejection off from here during the New York session to come and attack these lows, but yet still nothing. So the daily keeps soaring higher, which that should be the case. We just wanted it to come and attack the previous day's low before going up. All right, so based on what it's doing now, it seems the pullback is not going to happen. So going forward, just continue looking for longs. This will be the next important level. Any sharp retracement that happens, this is where they're going to come back to and then resume going higher. So mark this level on your chart. That's your next entry level. Okay, let me place the buy limit here, and then we expect price to go high again, right in here. Okay, so that's our next. If we pull back to that, that'll be your next entry. Okay, that is that for the currencies. Now let's move on to the cryptos. Okay, so yesterday we had a big move, surprisingly, to close above not just one down candle but two down candles. So as I said, if that happens, then the 11065 to 11196, that will be the draw on liquidity. So going forward, we've resumed going higher, and I would love to see this gap stay. So today should, give us a gap. By the close of today, give us a gap. Then that is really gonna solidify the move towards 111,967. So fingers crossed, we're gonna close bullish today, and then we have a nice fair value gap, and this will be a breakaway gap, which is very, very good, because if they can keep this open and we form a new one here, that's a sign that we are actually gonna start going higher. Okay, and with that, we'll give you obviously Ethereum going into this gap, especially 2680 level. That's the next target. It did touch this. I wanted them to go a little bit deeper, but they've confirmed. Okay, so a gap closing above a down candle, that is an auto block. So if we even come back here, that would be a buy on this candle's high on its own. All right, if we leave a gap, then your entry is gonna be below that gap's low, this low here. That's where your entry is gonna be. So it's either they come back to this candle's high and go higher, or they will go higher and then leave a gap here, and then definitely there's a potential pullback that can happen to it before we resume going higher. Solana, not the best, because it could not close above, so I'll cancel you to leave Solana alone. XRP, we are going for that 23380 level. On the H4, it's showing good signs of price gonna actually go there, because after we closed, right, I was looking for them to come a bit lower to then start making their way up, but after we closed yesterday, it's kept some nice H4 gap, then we are heading for that. So look for that 23380 level. That's our next draw on liquidity. Hype, I was looking for that because of the Bitcoin, but again, it goes to show why this is not a good pair to be trading right now, because I was sold for that. I would have shorted if I was trading this, and I would have got stopped out, and I won't trade it. I won't touch it again, because based on the high time frame, we need to come for this gap. All right, so as it stands, no touch. AI, I was looking for them to run this low before rejection, but they've closed above this. Now what I'm seeing happening, okay, if that is the case, is some kind of accumulation going on, right? It's a small range of price, not moving aggressively down or aggressively up, and it's forming some kind of either accumulation or distribution. So there is going to be a big move coming. Okay, there is going to be a big move coming now, whether to the upside or to the downside, that's yet to be clarified. So we need one big push away with an imbalance. If it happens here, which if today closes bullish, then they will leave an imbalance. If it happens here, then we are going to go up. Okay, if not, then they will reject and then go down. But I'm kind of in a way looking for the upside rather than the downside because of Bitcoin. Okay, so because of Bitcoin, I'm looking for the push to the upside. And then finally, Chachki, I think we've not got any joy, and as I mentioned, the next draw on liquidity will be this level, so watch out for that. The level is too complicated, 0.0000, so many zeros. Okay, so that's the draw on liquidity. And then with that, I think that is all for now. Now, obviously, because I've cut down on the currencies it's gonna mean sometimes you're not gonna get a lot of I would say options, but stick with the little ones that I gave you. Okay, for example, crude oil going up and dollar yen going down. Stick with those ones, and there is a reason why. Okay, and that reason, I'll talk about it in future, because this market is very, very dangerous. So the more you look, the higher the probability of you being wrong. The less you look, the higher the probability of you being right. Okay, so that is why I've cut down on all these, and then we focus on what is important right now. Okay, so yeah, that is all I have for you for now. Enjoy, and I'll see you probably tomorrow. We will not have a session because I think the market will be closed. The dollar index will be closed, and when dollar index is closed, there's not a lot happening. The market will just, probably not move. Dollar index will not move. Most of the futures will not move, so it will not be worth even being in the market tomorrow. So my advice, tomorrow, possible, stay out, and then possibly, if they're not going to open the market, I'll check in the morning, but there's a high probability they're going to close the dollar index, and futures is definitely going to close. So we will not have a live session tomorrow because of that, right? Because the market is not going to do anything. Maybe crypto will move, but even that, I would suggest, because of the Independence Day, it would be better that you stay and sit on your hands. Just go out and have fun. Okay, so that is all I have for you for today. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you possibly Monday. All right, take care.